Hey everyone, and welcome to Luke Makes Conversation. I'm your host, Luke Smith, and with me today is a very good friend of mine. I've actually written out a list of all the brilliant things that she does because I don't want to forget any of them. So she is a designer, creative director and consultant. She's an author, she's a charity campaigner, she's a TV star, she's a vlogger, and she's an award-winning stand-up comedian. She's now also an entrepreneur launching a project called 365s. And she's also just a general great inspiration for anyone. Emma, how are you doing?
I'm good after that, thank you. I'm going to employ you to walk around behind me and say all those things. Yeah. You also need to redo my CV, I think, as well, because probably most of that isn't on there. So if you could, do that for me as well, that'd be awesome.
I'll do my best. So you've recently launched a project called 365, which is basically a site where people can get together who are living with, is it just Parkinson's at the moment?
The plan is to basically start it with Parkinson's as like a model that I can test it that it works, and then roll it out to other health conditions.
Okay.
So I was diagnosed with Parkinson's 5 years ago at the age of 29,
right.
Which kind of puts me in a position to understand that category better than the other stuff.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
That's kind of why I'm starting with it. But I've been video blogging for the last year, just to kind of share my story with Parkinson's and share other people's stories. And I realised that a lot of people were kind of contacting me saying that it was helping them, that they were actually finding, which is kind of concerning because I was just doing it for a laugh. And then suddenly people were like, I'm learning from you. And I was thinking, probably need to learn more myself to be able to share, what I know and actually be helpful to these people. But I kept getting people saying that it was helping them, that they'd maybe not even spoken to another person with Parkinson's, and that actually cool. I kind of felt like a friend, which was nice. So I kind of realised that there was an opportunity to create something which could help people with long-term or chronic health conditions to support each other, basically, and to kind of learn from each other. So it's going to be like a vlogging platform where I'll kind of work with, say 30 or 40 vloggers who have Parkinson's to start with. And there'll be people with Parkinson's, people who are like maybe carers, people who love people with Parkinson's, people who are clinicians, researchers, all sorts of fun things that can share their story about what they're learning, what they know, and then other people can go in and through really good tagging, you can find what you're looking for. You can find what your questions, find the answers to your questions, and hopefully not be afraid of what you've been dealt anymore.
Yeah, so you've already done this, haven't you? You already did a 365, which is basically a vlog every day. What where did that idea come from for you? Is that something that someone else had mentioned, or was it?
Foolishly, everyone always says to me, who roped you into that? I can't believe you got roped into it. And I'm like, I roped myself in and roped someone else in with me who drops out because he didn't have enough time to do it. But,
okay.
So there was two of us originally doing it, but he's got a young family and a full-time job, and it's a lot of work. And he's also a massive perfectionist, whereas I was happy just to slap stuff up on the internet and just
get it out
go
there.
with it. He wanted it to be like perfect and kind of edited nicely and stuff. So he really struggled to do it, but he's actually made videos since, kind of on certain occasions, and they're really helpful. But it was something that it was kind of maybe a week or so before Parkinson's Awareness Week last year, and I just thought I want to do something different. I want to challenge myself. And I'd made a couple of short videos, and people had kind of been contacting me and sort of asking for my advice on stuff. And I just thought, well, why not give it a go? It's worth a go. And I didn't realise what I'd kind of signed myself up to do until I started it. And then I think it was on my second day, I was hungover, and everyone suddenly messaged me on YouTube saying, where are you? What's happened? Have you died? And I was like, no, I'm just hungover because I celebrated getting to day one too much, and now I'm screwed. I've not got to do day two. So now everyone, for like the year after, whenever I didn't post like, a particular time, everyone would message me and be like, are you hungover again?
Building yourself a reputation.
Yeah, build a following through reputation. It was a proper challenge. It was something I've never really made any videos before properly. I didn't really have any kit. I still don't have any kit. I kind of did it all with basic kit. Just my phone and stuff. And I've got a little bit sick of editing, I won't lie to you, because if you interview someone for an hour and you've not seen them for ages, there's likely to be a huge amount of chat.
You
then have to go through and kind of take out all the bits where you're talking about your cat or the stuff that's not really relevant. So it was good, but actually talking to the other people with the condition was the thing that kind of taught me more than I expected. I never expected to do that when I first started out. I didn't expect to interview people. It was just going to be me. But then I realised people would get sick of my voice for 365 days. So thought I should probably add some other voices in and get some kind of other opinions on it and stuff. So it was It's really good fun. Really enjoyed it. I've kind of miss it now. A couple of days afterwards, I miss it, but I feel like I've left a load of people on their own as well, because a lot of people were relying on it day to day. So I feel like
But
it's sort
then
of
hopefully with the
just
launch
gone,
of
oh, bye.
hopefully the launch of the
Yeah.
365 thing, then though, that'll be like it'll
Hopefully,
extend that to a
that's the
lot more
plan.
people.
That's the plan. Yeah.
Have you got any plans to keep vlogging or anything now that the year is up, but maybe on a less regular basis?
Yeah, maybe for sort of like special occasions, or
Yeah.
when something happens that's kind of interesting, or if I learn something, or like my neck is in a particularly bad way at the moment. I've slipped a disc, so if I can get my neck back to how it was, I will definitely be doing some sort of reservation style video. Look, everyone, it's fixed. But I think yeah, I'd like to carry on. I think I also need to lead by example. So if I'm expecting other people to vlog on this new platform, then I need to do it as well. So yeah, I'm really excited. So I've literally just launched a crowdfunding thing yesterday for it. So it's 365s.com, sneaky plug. And I'm crowdfunding basically to build it, and then I'm going to work with charities to kind of grow it out to other conditions. So things like motor neurone disease, MS, strokes, cancer, anything, and really obscure little kind of conditions that not a lot of people have, because I think they're the ones that people need the most support and help with sometimes.
Yeah.
There's definitely like fringes of Parkinson's, so they call them Parkinsonisms. I'll never say that, Parkinsonisms, which are like Parkinson's but not fully Parkinson's. They've got kind of other symptoms, and actually they can then dip in and look at the symptoms that they have and see if they can get help as well. So it's cool. It's important to try and reach out to people that have really kind of obscure and quite rare conditions as well. So
because you've got the background in kind of design and stuff, I assume picking up like the editing and like the video work may have come a bit easier to than it would for other people. Are you going to be doing like workshops and stuff like that along the way if there is anyone that's not sure how to handle it?
Exactly, that's the plan. So I'm going to do sort of kick-off workshops for anyone that becomes a blogger.
Nice.
But also the plan is to then do that for the charities as well. I did some training for some charities recently, and before the session they were like, we don't really know how to do it. It seems too scary and too hard. Right. And then afterwards they were like, oh, you make it look really easy. You make it seem like you don't need a lot of kit or a lot of time or everything. So I'm glad they kind of got that.
Yeah, definitely.
Got that from me. So if I can kind of try and impart that a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a big part of it as well, isn't it? Like the not needing loads of kit to start it up. Like if you've got a phone and some headphones with a microphone on them, then you're good to go. My
kit is essentially my phone, a piece of string that I tie around myself and put through the back of my camera case so that I can attach it to myself like a holster. What else have I got? Some sticky labels. I've got all sorts of just random stuff. Some coloured gels that I sometimes fling in front of the camera. Yeah, I kind of keep it really basic. And the really funny thing was, like, when I did this presentation, I had a slide that had loads of kit and like mics and those fluffy things that you use with mics and stuff like that. And I had that on the screen, and the other guy that had been doing the vlogging with me messaged me and said, oh, you've got the same kit as me. And I was like, no, my friend. And scrolled to the next screen, and I was like, this is my kit. A piece of string, a label maker, some OH overhead protection, like things coloured in with pens so that they make different coloured gels. So I was like, this is my kit. This is why you never carried it on.
That's pretty good. There were times in the series where it wasn't just straight up you talking to the camera. You got like quite creative at times with editing and stuff as well. Is that something you're going to try and encourage other people to do?
Yeah, I think it's nice to have it's nice to have a variety of sort of different styles. And I think I'm going to say that with the 365s, I'm going to encourage people to explore and kind of be creative through it. And if there won't be a particular type of vlog that they have to do. I'm not going to specify that. They can do whatever they like. They can interview someone. They can film themselves walking somewhere. They can be creative and edit some snaps together. Whatever explains what they're trying to say the best way, really, because people with health conditions are often super creative because they need to find an outlet for what they're dealing with, and I would hate to stifle that. If they want to write a poem, they can write a poem and film themselves saying it. Just whatever they think will help someone else understand that better.
Yeah,
is the thing, really. So
yeah, because the other thing you did before this was your book Dropping the P-Bomb, which was quite similar to this project in that you kind of kept a diary of your experiences being diagnosed for the first year, which I guess thematically works as a precursor to what the 365 project was. How much?
I'm all about a year, aren't I?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nothing lasts more than a year though. Once that point, you get bored of it, and it's time to move on. How much of the writing the book kind of helped you with the 365 project?
I've never actually thought of it, but it's a really good point. I think it kind of gave me some structure and some rigor to like knowing how to do it, and also seeing the story in every day. Because I think when you're doing a video blog for that long, you almost have to kind of start, as you're doing your day, you suddenly think, oh, that's actually something that is relevant, or this is something that I can translate into this to explain it to someone, or, I've just struggled with this, I should really share that. And so I think I did that with the book quite a bit.
Yeah, I think so.
Because you're basically looking for things that are Parkinson's related, but not necessarily all about Parkinson's, because you want to share other elements of your life and also show that you're a rounded human being, and that Parkinson's isn't all you are, because I think, Parkinson's being all you are is a bit of a dodgy message and doesn't help anyone. So I think you kind of start seeing the little snippets of Parkinson's and how it relates to your day, even if your day isn't about Parkinson's.
Yeah, that's
it's kind of just making that connection. And I think definitely writing the book helped me do that. But I hadn't really noticed that until you said that actually they're both kind of diary things. Obviously, I love a diary. I just love a diary.
I guess it helps you find your voice as well, doesn't it? And kind of help you. I guess the writing process gives you a lot of time to kind of edit and think about what you're putting down, which lets you develop how you're going to talk about things in the future.
When I do interviews and stuff now as well, definitely, sometimes I find myself saying things that are things in the book, and I'm like, I hope no one reads the book because they're just going to know I'm quoting from it. But it's when you're kind of talking about something, you want to try and explain it in the most simple way that people can understand you don't have the condition, but also that people will kind of know that you get them if they've got the condition, and you're not going to alienate people by being unrealistic or overly positive if they don't feel positive. It's a really fine line, so you have to find a way of talking about it that is right for everyone, but is also true to you and your style, and that's quite difficult. And so through writing the book, I think I found that.
You come across like as a personality in the book, like it is definitely your story. I think that's what makes it quite nice. So the book was the first kind of new creative thing you did after the diagnosis, which sort of spurred on a lot of extra other things. You've dealt with it by pushing through and just making the most of every opportunity. How have you found coming into these new situations and stuff? So you did the big life fix with the BBC. You've started working as a consultant with certain companies. You've been on stage at Microsoft Build conferences. Like you've been all over and you've done a lot. How have you found getting into those roles? Like, is it just the Parkinson's that pushed you on and made you not want to say no?
Yeah, definitely. And I think also that whole process of finding out who I was and what my voice was, I think it makes it easier to slot into any situation, because if you know who you are and you know what you're going to say and what you're about, then it doesn't make them scary. It's a horrible thing to say, but like when you say you have a brand, a personal brand, it's such a horrible sentence, but it is that it's knowing like who you are and what you stand for and what you should be involved in, and actually then it just becomes a yes for everything, because if that thing fits with what you have planned for yourself, then you want to do it. But also I feel like I've just been given so many incredible opportunities, and I've always been a bit of a yes person, but I've definitely become more that way since I was diagnosed, because I don't know how long things are going to be easy for. I don't know how long things are going to be, I'm going to be able to do it. So I'm incredibly impatient with myself, and I have to do things now, which is super annoying, and would be better if I could actually just give myself some time to do things properly. But I get there eventually. But I think I used to be a bit more scared of a chance. I was a bit more laid back, I think. Before I was diagnosed, I was more kind of chilled about stuff. I just didn't really ever get that flustered about anything. Whereas now I'm a bit more like, I know what I want to achieve from stuff, and I just kind of want to get on with it. But I don't really get frightened of stuff anymore. I think I feel bad. Like I was supposed to go on Loose Women the other day, and they cancelled. My mum was supposed to come on it with me, and I was really excited. My mum was really scared, and I spoke to her about it. And she goes, I can't be scared because you're not scared, and you've got Parkinson's. And I was like, but that's the point. Like, you not having Parkinson's probably makes you more frightened, because actually you don't have that kind of inner fire of like, I might not get another opportunity to do this. So it's kind of directly linked, I think, but also it just brought something out in me that made me realise that there was nothing, I couldn't lose anything by trying.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the stand-up comedy was just one of those ridiculous things that you just, no one roped me into it, and everyone always asked me, who roped you into this? And I'm like, no, just me.
Decided to do it.
Bit of an idiot like that, but yeah, so... But it went
really
well, and I really want to do it again. So
I mean, you won the evening.
I know. I've still got that bottle of champagne in my fridge, actually, or prosecco or whatever it was. And it's like been sat in there so long now. It needs a special occasion to drink it, I think, when I win the next one.
Yeah, but then that's another thing that probably came from the doing the vlogs and writing the book and finding your voice and learning how to talk about everything. Like
Yeah.
being able to then put it into
Yeah.
a stand-up routine.
And seeing what people find funny and what people find awkward, and actually what you can push a little bit is
Yeah,
quite
definitely.
fun. I find that from just talking to people generally. You know, you see when they pull that kind of, oh god, that's a really cringy sort of, and it's just stopping just before you get to that. I think with stand up, or maybe going into that. You know, maybe just touching that.
It's a good point though, because it may have been your first stand-up set, but it isn't the first time that you've had to talk and joke and and laugh through the situations.
I found as well that I've definitely started kind of, bringing an element of kind of comedy or self-deprecation into when I do just regular talks. So, like, I mean, I was concerned. I did a couple of corporate talks, and I was really concerned that they'd be worried that I was being too kind of jokey. But actually, I realised that's who I am. That's the way I deal with it, and they've booked me because they know that I'm like that. So I need to be true to that. So I'll always make a couple of, not like funny stand-up comedy, sweary jokes, obviously. But I feel like I can be myself and take the mick out of myself and say something silly because it diffuses it, and then people listen better, I think.
Well, if you can make light of it, people sort of engage with it more, and they stop kind of treading lightly around it, and they connect with it more. I think it becomes more personable.
Definitely. I think it's a case of like if she can make a joke about it, we can listen. We can bring ourselves, to join her in this sort of thing, and it definitely makes people sort of warm to me quicker, I think, and therefore they want to listen to me and help me and know what I'm doing. So it's quite it definitely helps. So yeah, I've kind of started to bring a little bit of humour, not to the same level. My dad would be thoroughly disappointed in me if I was swearing at clients. He's thoroughly disappointed that I'm swearing in stand-up, but yeah, he let me off because it was funny.
What's been like the hardest or scariest thing you've had to do?
Just dealing with the neck in general actually has been really hard and really scary. Actually, weirdly, I can get on a stage, I can talk to a bunch of people, I can do anything like that and not be scared. But sometimes stepping outside the house when my neck is bad is scary because I kind of worry that I'm going to fall over or, someone's going to laugh at me or something. So that's the weird thing. I can step on the stage with my neck like this because the context is different.
Yeah.
Like I'm on there as Emma with Parkinson's and people know that, I can explain my neck and I get an opportunity. Whereas sometimes walking out in the street is just like, you don't have that opportunity unless you wear a t-shirt that says I've got Parkinson's and I've screwed my neck up. It's, you don't have that opportunity. So it's a bit difficult, but yeah, I think probably like professionally the scariest or hardest thing actually going into I'm working 3 days a week at the moment for the Parkinson's charity, and actually going into a position where I'm working for someone again has been quite hard because having Parkinson's and being reliable is really difficult, and you kind of feel like you're letting people down a lot of the time. But I'm kind of struck a deal with them at the moment, while my neck's like this, that I go in a day a week and I work the rest from home, but they're very, very supportive.
It's good that you have the flexibility though.
Yeah, they're great, and it's a great job that was sort of made for me a little bit. It's kind of my perfect. I'm basically devices, apps, and gadgets strategist, which is like makes you sound like Inspector Gadget, look like Go-Go Gadget arms.
That's pretty good.
I feel like I should wear like a trench coat to work every day and just pull things out of it.
Hat as well.
Little hat. I'll get one.
On the flip side, then, what's been the most exciting thing?
I have to say, Build was like the Build conference. Being on stage with Satya was like, it was just mental. Like I look back at it now and it just makes you feel all like funny inside and like scared again, because it was like being part of something extraordinary. It's like being part of like a presidential campaign or something, like being in the presence of like Barack Obama or something. It was like incredible, and he's just such a gentle man and like such a nice person and had such a nice way about him that it was such an incredible experience. But being on stage in front of that many people was just like amazing. It was insane, and then just felt like a proper celebrity for the rest of the week.
Yeah, I had like the live stream on in like a little video in the corner at work, and I was just like, this is like I used to sit opposite me at a desk at work. It's like, how did this happen? This is crazy.
It's so weird. And I have to say, like, the Big Life Fix was just literally those two things. Well, the Big Life Fix directly led to that. So the Big Life Fix changed everything,
because that's where you met Hyann, isn't it?
Yeah
it
changed my life in every element. My job is different, my life is different, what I do, what I love, everything is different. And that's because I applied on Facebook, or saw on Facebook an advert for someone wanting someone for a TV show, applied for it and got selected. And it's insane that you can make one decision. It's like sliding doors, isn't it? And
Yeah,
I
definitely.
wonder what I'd be doing now.
Yeah, if you just ignored it. Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
wonder what I'd be doing now, because I was a bit scared about applying for it, to be honest. I was a bit scared about it, but
How's the do you still use the Emma Watch?
I do, yes. I don't use it as much because my job doesn't involve so much drawing or writing as it did anymore, sadly. But I do use it for when I need it, and then we're trying to test it at the moment to see whether it works for anyone other than just me, whether it's like the nichest product in the world ever. And that process takes a long time, so people get quite frustrated that it's only at that point in the process, and I'm frustrated that it's only at that point in the process. But then if it looks like it's actually going to be something that works for other people, then we take it back to Microsoft and we try and get them to do something with it. So
do you keep in regular contact with Anne then on developing?
I do,
yes,
putting it forward? Nice. Yeah. So her and I sort of going to be testing it together and stuff like that, and I see a fair bit of her. So yeah, she's an amazing person.
Yeah,
very cool.
That's very cool.
Our second watch is out in New York at the moment in the Smithsonian Museum.
Oh, cool.
Which is cool. So there's like an exhibition out there at the moment. It's got the Emma watch in it, which is really cool.
That's amazing.
I want to go visit it.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy.
When I went to New York, I went to go and talk to them about it beforehand, and it was just really exciting hearing them talk about putting it in the exhibit. So with some other kind of really, really cool assistive tech.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you've made a lot of different stuff. Obviously, you've got the creative background behind you, being a designer before. Yeah. How have you found adapting to sort of learning new disciplines and stuff like that?
Surprisingly easy, which my friend Mike gets really annoyed about, because like he makes videos and he's always saying sort of stuff to me like, oh, you need to know how to make videos, and then he's like, oh, you can make them, damn you. And then when I did my writing, he was like, oh, you're a good writer as well, and it really annoys him. But I'm just like annoying him really. But it's just, I think it's when you are creative, you find ways of solving stuff and you find ways of doing stuff that suits you. And I think I come from a house of people that just get on with stuff and try it and see what happens. And like my dad's a good writer, my mum and dad are both creative, my brother's creative. I think we're natural storytellers as well, and I think if you can spin a good yarn and you can design something and solve problems creatively, you can go quite a long way. That kind of is transferable across different mediums, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something that so when we used to work together, I think that's something that our kind of creative directors and the senior designers and stuff always fed into us, is that storytelling is like the key to everything,
really important.
No matter what it is. And I think storytelling
needs to underpin everything.
Yeah, definitely. It really helps people buy into an idea if they can find a narrative in it. And I think that makes sense. And when you read your book or you watch your videos and stuff, you can really tell that there is like a constant narrative running through it all, and I think it helps tie it all together.
Yeah, I think I didn't really plan it, but I think it's something that gets instilled in you, and then definitely. That just becomes your natural way of working.
Yeah, it's something that's there for a reason and has a
reason. Yeah,
definitely, it's quite.
And
good.
I think that's the other thing as well. I think working for the agency, I think we kind of learned, because it was all quite we had to do a lot of things ourselves, and we had to be quite sort of self-starters on stuff. And I think it taught us a lot about sort of promoting things and why things are the way they are, and with it being a smallish agency, we got kind of we got to see kind of how the other elements of the agency worked. And so I think, and also having a past in where I actually at one point started to run a very small agency, but then got bored and wandered off, as I tend to do.
After a year.
Probably after a year. It probably was, actually, to be honest. I've just got this year thing. With this new project, I'm gonna stick it out. I'm on the case. I think I learned how to kind of do all the stuff that actually helps you promote yourself and talk to people, and that's actually the thing that I've found the most useful, and there's been the biggest learning curve, is actually talking to people, connecting with people, making opportunities for yourself, and promoting yourself and what you're doing is actually the hardest thing when you are doing something. And actually, I've got some really good connections that have just happened by people. Me and people sort of bonding, and I think that's because I have Parkinson's. I'm more open with people, and I think I tend to make stronger connections with people because they see my weakness. It's almost like it's there for everyone to see. I'm immediately going, this is me, this is who I am, and I'm open. Whereas I can't hide and pretend that I'm something that I'm not. And I think that's really valuable. I think that really helps people connect with me, and so I've made some connections that I wouldn't have expected to make through different things of people that are really supportive to me. So Yeah, it's kind of a nice silver lining of Parkinson's. There is one.
About work as well, that is that we dealt with quite a wide variety of people as well, like a lot of
Yeah,
different clients, and that kind of helps you find your find how you're going to talk to people in different sectors
exactly
and
that.
stuff, and
Yeah,
learning how to deal with
exactly that.
different people.
And I think that the charity sector has been like kind of really important as well, and just sort of and sort of explaining tech to people that aren't techie as well. I think is now a vital part of my job, because I'm working with people with Parkinson's and trying to explain to them why technology is so important to their lives and why they need to get on board with it. And so it's kind of helped me learn how to talk about it a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, one of our projects was the Parkinson's UK website, which
Yeah.
I imagine was quite
Ironic.
helpful after when you knew, because
It was
you knew
around
the
the
people
time.
there.
It was around the time.
Yeah, it was,
actually.
wasn't it? It was really weird timing.
Yeah. It's when I was diagnosed. It was I kind of went back to work and it was on everyone's computer screens, and I was like, oh,
I
bloody
can't
hell.
get away from it.
Can't escape.
But I mean, that introduced you to the team there and stuff, and I guess that was a big help at the end of the day in knowing those people.
It meant I had that connection that I then went in and was like, I want to do media work with you guys. I want to share my story, and I think I ticked a box on a form and never looked back really. And it's sort of, they've really utilised me because people seem to like my story, which is great. Anything I can do to be helpful is great. So, that literally just came from me knowing the team there and someone saying, do you want to talk to our media team? They're looking for people that are young with it to talk on the news and stuff. And I was like, yeah, probably won't ever happen. Probably won't ever do anything. I think I did London Live once, and then just everything started happening. So I'm very grateful to how supportive the community has been as well. Like, they're a very supportive community, and everyone with Parkinson's kind of roots for everyone, which is nice. So
that's good. There seems to be a theme of you finding projects, like new projects from projects you've been on at the moment. How much of that comes from you seeing something that you're doing while working on a project and then wanting to find out more and pushing in that direction, and how much of it is just you kind of meet these people and then end up in new projects from that?
I think a lot of it is like seeing problems during doing other things. So kind of a little bit of both. But with the blogging, I didn't expect. I planned to have a rest afterwards. I planned to not do anything. I didn't plan to go straight into something new. But I just suddenly realised there was this massive gap, and actually I had the kind of bare bones of something to be able to start doing it. I had I've got 325 videos or something, which I could potentially roll onto the new platform. And I've got the start of something already, and then all the people that I know who have Parkinson's have made videos over the space of time. We could put those into an archive. There's stuff already, and these people are creating, and there just needs to be one place where it all needs to go. And I think I saw this and was like, I need to do it, and I need to do it now, really. So screw my rest. I'll have a rest at some point.
You rest after this
a week
year
or something. Yeah. Then something else will happen. And
so it's not. It's also not just like tech stuff you're doing though. While you were doing the 365, you were invited to do the last stretch of the boat race that ended in the Thames. How was that? How did that come about?
It was amazing. It was really cool. Basically, a woman from Barclays who I didn't know contacted me on Twitter and said, do you want to go on a boat with me? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, so I didn't get murdered, which is good. You should always say yes to strangers, I've learned. Don't say yes to strangers. Don't learn from me.
How much like training and stuff went into that? Or did you just kind of show up on the day and was like, cool, I'm
just
here, let's go?
Just straight up, basically.
That's crazy.
Like, I met her a few times before, and like none of us had any training. We all just turned up and then just were on this boat, and suddenly we were the crew. There was around 40 of us, I think, in total, and there was a mix of people with disabilities, some people in wheelchairs, some people. There was a guy, our watch leader was partially sighted, and awesome guy just rocking it on a boat, which you couldn't really see. I mean, it's amazing.
That's crazy.
Being in charge of people is insane. So. It was an incredible experience, and I actually got asked when I finished the journey to be a trustee. So I'm now a trustee of the charity. So it's a Jubilee Sailing Trust, and
that's very cool.
I'm kind of helping them look at their journeys, that kind of what happens before and after the trip, and how people are sharing it and stuff like that. So that's great fun, and they're a really, really cool organisation. No one else is really doing exactly what they're doing. So the boats are like big pirate ships. They're
I saw.
Incredible boats.
It looked very cool.
It was just like the kind of experience you never expect to have again, but hopefully I will get to have it again. I really want to take my dad. I think he'd love it. So
yeah, that'd be quite cool.
That was something, again, I was so grateful that she found me because she went on Twitter and searched for people with Parkinson's, and I was one of the first people that came up. So everything leads from something else,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I wouldn't be in that position if it hadn't been other things that had kind of projected me to the point that people now know who I am in
Yeah.
Parkinson's. And
But then it's also on you being open to new things as well and wanting to challenge yourself and push yourself forward.
I think she said to me something like, do you know, and she didn't want to put pressure on me, so she said, do you know anyone who'd want to do this? And
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
screw that, this is mine.
This is mine. I'm going to do this.
No one else is having this, I'm having it. Me. My next adventure is basically doing a survival adventure with 9 other women in the woods somewhere in the UK with basic kit, basic rations for a week. We kind of have to build our own shelters and
Jeez.
everything. It's going to be crazy. So that came from talking at an event called Yestival, where I was headlining, and I got to the end of my talk and I said, I've got no new adventures. Does anyone want to take me on an adventure? And a couple of people suggested like Everest and things like that, and I was like, oh, I'm not sure I'm ready for that yet.
Bit of a step.
Till my neck's better. I might fall over the edge of it. But this girl called Bex came up to me, and she does this thing called the Ordinary Adventurer, and she kind of takes women on adventures that when they're not adventurers, they're just regular women.
Okay.
And she's done a couple of things sort of up mountains and things like that. But we decided to do something that was kind of closer, and we're probably going to have some really interesting campfire moments because these women we had 140 applicants. Jeez. And we chose 8 from it. So they've all got very interesting stories of why they wanted to do this. So it's going to be a real challenge. Yeah. But we're not telling my physio about that because of my neck. But lying on the floor is good for me, apparently. So
I don't think you'll listen.
Maybe not all night and on twigs. You might be a fan, Luke. You don't know.
You never know. How does it still feel weird to you to say, "Oh, I was headlining a talk at Yestival," or stuff like that? Do you feel like it's the normal day to day?
It's the normal day to day, which makes you sound like an idiot. But if I go in my email inbox now, if it's not something exciting, I get really upset.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I get really, really annoyed with it. It's almost like I expect there to be something, at least one exciting thing in my email. Like whether it's someone asking me to go to a talk or something TV, or just if it's someone with Parkinson's emailing me saying that they've been watching my stuff or asking for advice, that's exciting.
Yeah, I bet.
And so if I don't have anything like that, if it's just a day where I wake up and I've just got like the regular stuff, I'm like, God, that's so boring. What a rubbish day. But it's not a rubbish day. It's still an awesome day. I still, my job is awesome. I'm so happy with my job. And it's just how the last year has been. It's just been thing after thing after thing after thing after thing. And I think I've got to the point now that I have to make stuff happen if nothing's happening, like the stand-up and things like that all came from me being like, I haven't done anything in a few days. I need to, need to do something terrifying.
You've got your 50-row Gladstone, which is kind of like
your own
online shop.
Don't do it so much anymore, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah, so I had my online store, and that was kind of something that probably lasted a year. But it was just one of those things. I kind of decided that I needed to make like an alternative career for myself because I thought that I wasn't going to be able to work in design for very long.
Right.
So I started making kind of hand-painted products that I could make, put a paintbrush in my mouth and paint splodgy things if I needed to, if my hands got too bad. But I realised I kind of stopped my career myself before I needed to, and that actually I can still be a designer and I can still do the jobs that I want to do. So I sort of curbed that a little bit, and I can always do it in the future. The skills are there and the knowledge is there from what I did. But it kind of made me realise that I really love digital, I love technology, and I think it's the future of long-term health conditions. So I'm in a position to do something about it and try and help people. So I'm going to carry on with that a bit longer. I don't really have time to make stuff anymore, but I will go back to it, I'm sure, at some point when I retire or something.
That's fair enough. Is there anything on the horizon that you're looking forward to that you can talk about, aside from the survival camping and...
I'm really excited about launching, this is a real nerdy excited, I'm really excited about launching our list at work. So we're basically creating a list of apps and devices that are safe for people with Parkinson's to use. So they'll be going through like a really rigorous testing process, and then they go through my panels. I've got a panel of 75 people with Parkinson's who can test stuff and give their opinions and stuff like that. So then we're hoping that will go out to like clinicians and stuff. So we've got like a team called the Excellence Network who are all our consultants and stuff, and that this list will go out to them and they can start recommending it at like point of diagnosis. So they can say, here's some medication you can try, but there's an app that also will help you control that medication, or here's a device that might help you, with your tremor, or they can start to recommend stuff, because I think technology can really help support medication. Yeah, really like super nerdy excited about that. That's going to be something that's launching in the next few months, hopefully.
Do you have a preference to like doing things for you or like things that help other people? Is it just a nice mix of two that keeps you going? Yeah,
I like a
that's
mix.
fair enough.
Yeah, I think also kind of ridiculously, like anything I do for other people always ends up being a little bit for myself.
Yeah, that's true. I guess they kind of feed into each other.
Like Big Life Fix was totally something I wanted to do, but actually it helps a lot of people because they realise that technology could help them, and it like projected Parkinson's as a young person's condition. And so I think the two things are sort of like tend to be interlinked.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when it's something that you're living with, you know the life experiences and stuff, so it's a lot easier to work towards them.
I can't think if there's anything else I'm excited about. I'm sure there's probably something, but I probably just don't know that it's going to happen.
Yeah,
yet.
No, it's
so
true.
Sure
you'll wake up to there'll be an email from...
really short notice. Yeah, there better be. There better be a really exciting email in my inbox tomorrow. It's a Sunday, but I'm still expecting an exciting email. Weekends, fun doesn't stop for weekends.
Yeah, exactly. That's when the most fun happens, I think. Are you looking to do any more TV shows, writing any more books, or are you kind of strictly in the app business now?
Yes. So I'm hopefully wanting to do something as a follow-up on the Emma Watch, and hopefully wanting to try and do some other TV stuff. I want to kind of tell other people's stories rather than my own.
Nice.
So not sure what that will be yet, but kind of interested in seeing if something can come of that. And I want to write another book, but I don't know what yet. But I feel like everyone's sort of saying they want like the follow-up of what happens afterwards, but then that's PD365. So my YouTube thing. So I feel like maybe like in the future I'll write another book, or I'm kind of intrigued about writing something about travel and Parkinson's.
Okay.
The kind of funny things that can happen when you travel with the condition, because a lot of kind of funny things have happened.
Yeah, I bet.
Do something kind of based on kind of countries and stuff like that. But I don't know. I'm not sure yet. I'm also trying to write a bit of kind of short comedy sitcom stuff with a guy that has Parkinson's. So he's a writer as well. So we had a bit of a brainstorm the other day, and we're trying to write something which is a bit of a sort of a, kind of TV type thing around Parkinson's, and like the kind of Parkinson's is like a side story almost. It's not the story, but the main character has Parkinson's, so we're trying to work like a comedy piece together from that. So
that sounds cool. How can all the millions of people listening keep in touch with you if they want to find out more about 365 or just what you're doing in general?
So the website is www.365s.com, and that is actually linked through at the moment to my crowdfunding page, which has all the information about what I'm doing. There's a little video on there and stuff like that, so if people want to have a look. I'm on Twitter, so at EMSEMS_LAWTON, LAWTON. You can follow me on there and stuff happening on there, or you can go onto YouTube and search for PD365.
Nice.
And that'll bring up all the videos that I've made in the last year.
Great. Cool. Thanks very much. Thanks everyone for listening along at home. I've been Luke Smith. You can keep up to date with me on Twitter at Luke Makes Tweets. On YouTube, if you just search Luke Makes, I'll probably be like the 5th result at the moment. But let's hope I get higher one day. And you can also subscribe to the audio podcast at anchor.fm/Luke Makes Conversation. Thanks everyone for listening, and I will see you all next time. Bye.